Good afternoon, everybody. Definitely hope all is well. So we're definitely looking at a invigorated severe thunderstorm threat for tomorrow, as well as a winter storm threat in northeastern Texas, all the way up through Oklahoma here and into the Ozarks as well. We're definitely going to be discussing that. Unfortunately, we're only going to be discussing those events currently. We will be discussing more of the northern impacts either later on today or into either tomorrow or the next day as well. But I definitely want to take the time out to do an emergency live briefing on the severe weather expected Tuesday. This will be a discussion for the timing, the location for the severe weather, and the snow as well. So we're definitely expecting some damaging tornadoes tomorrow, possibly, certainly some damaging destructive winds and some large hail as well. And heavy snow bands will definitely be setting up across northeastern Texas, central and eastern Oklahoma, as well as into the Ozarks. So we definitely have to look at some of the data in that. And definitely thank you all for joining as well. Definitely appreciate that. We definitely want to make sure that everybody stays safe during these severe weather events, as well as the snow events as well. It's definitely nothing to play with for sure. Definitely, guys, if you have a chance, definitely hit that subscribe button and enable notifications to ensure that you do not miss any weather updates for sure. Definitely hit that like button as well. Definitely appreciate you all being here for sure. But yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting. So let's switch over to Radar Omega, guys. We'll definitely take a look at this for sure. Definitely not good in terms of severe weather for sure here. Like Justin and I forecast yesterday on the live stream. So the Storm Prediction Center, as we stated last night, has included a double barrel enhanced risk across portions of the Gulf Coast here. So definitely not good. You guys can definitely see that here. We have a double enhanced risk. So right here, that's to the south of Houston. And then over here, guys, within southern and southeastern Louisiana, all the way over through southern Mississippi and southern Alabama, even into portions of the Florida Panhandle can get in on the action as well. So it's definitely not good. So this includes a morning to late morning threat, as well as an afternoon, evening, and overnight nocturnal threat for severe supercell thunderstorms. So the increasing potential of tornadoes as well. So we're definitely have to look at that for sure. It's definitely not looking good, folks. The convecting and allowing high resolution models are honing in on a significant threat imposed by this double barrel threat. So the threat for large hail and damaging winds are increasing, as well as robust and elevated mixed layer comes into play. So we'll definitely take a look at that. But let me just show you guys this enhanced risk here, just to show you here. So the robust elevated mixed layer will come into play, originating over the Mexican plateau. So we definitely have to watch out for that. And this aforementioned elevated mixed layer will be generating robust instability values across the Texas Hill Country, as well as across southeastern Texas. So this includes areas such as Galveston Island, the Bolivar Peninsula, and Crystal Beach, up through Freeport, Texas as well. I'm actually surprised that they have not included Houston in the enhanced risk area. You can see Houston is in the slight risk. But it's definitely interesting. I do understand why, since most of the instability and convection will be hugging the coastline here, so we're going to have to watch that very, very closely. However, as I looked at some of the high-resolution convective allowing models earlier, a few discrete supercells look to develop within the Galveston Bay into downtown Houston, so we're going to have to watch this. So this will definitely be a situation to watch very, very closely. These supercells will then track northeast and eastward towards southwestern Louisiana. Let me get rid of this threat here. So they'll definitely be tracking this way here. So definitely not good. And then in that area as well, which includes cities and towns such as Lake Charles, Sulphur, Vinton, Starks, Moss Bluff, DeQuincy, Bell City, Lake Arthur, through Beaumont, Texas as well. So we'll definitely zoom in on this area here. So this should definitely be included in the enhanced risk area given the data. However, I do understand why. I will definitely go into some of that data as to why there is not an enhanced risk in that area. So the SPC right here, guys, is a little hesitant regarding the introduction of enhanced risk due to the concave shape of the coastline here near the Sabine Pass and the Sabine River here. This may lead to the continental air mass allowing for some convective inhibition in that region, which introduces the potential for a pocket of stable air to reside in this area. So we'll definitely have to watch this. So as aforementioned, guys, we have that threat that evening and overnight threat, or nocturnal threat, of supercells as well here. This will be very dangerous as it will impact the evening commute as well as after the sun sets, setting the stage for storms capable of producing damaging tornadoes, which may go unseen as they propagate across the landscape. So we're going to have to watch out for this. The areas most at risk here include Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Prairieville, Donaldsonville, Gramercy, down through New Orleans, and eventually making it to the Pearl River, Hideaway Lake, Bay St. Louis, Gulfport, Biloxi, Van Cleve, Grand Bay, and through Mobile, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, and through Pensacola, Florida as well. So it's definitely a very, very interesting threat. So definitely not good in terms of severe weather, so we're definitely going to have to keep our eye out on this. Let me switch over here to pivotal weather once again here, just to give you guys some more information. It's definitely interesting. So take a look at that trough here, guys. It's definitely very, very robust. Unfortunately, it's very, very strong, and we'll have two modes to it. The one which we have been discussing. Hello, Marlene. Hope you're doing well. Definitely thank you for tuning in. We definitely have a two-pronged severe weather threat here, as well as a snow threat. So that's definitely what we'll be discussing in this briefing here. So we're going to have two modes to this. One mode, which we have been discussing here, which is the severe weather mode. This is going to include areas such as down through Corpus Christi, Houston, Texas, all the way through the Gulf Coast here, stretching through Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, eventually into Mobile, Biloxi as well, and then into the Florida panhandle here. So it's definitely not going to be good. And that's good. I'm glad you're doing well. It's definitely going to be an interesting event for sure. Not sure if you will be in this area at the time, but if you guys are in this area, definitely heed the warnings and the information here. It's definitely going to be a very intense situation. So as I said, there's two modes. We have that severe weather mode, and we also have that winter weather mode up to the north here. So that's going to bring in some heavier bands of snow into portions of northern Texas here, into Oklahoma, southern and central, and as well as eastern Oklahoma, which will include the OKC metro area. The higher snow accumulations as well as the heavier precipitation bands will just be to the south of OKC, down through Norman, Pauls Valley, down through Duncan, and Tishomingo here as dynamic cooling takes place. Yeah, we're definitely doing good here. Justin is currently at work right now, so I'm definitely riding solo. It definitely sucks without Justin because it's always awesome having him here for sure. I definitely hope he's enjoying the day at work. But I know he will be joining us live tomorrow for the severe weather situation, so we'll definitely be going live tomorrow for sure. So it's definitely be very interesting. And also throughout the higher terrain here within the Ozarks, we'll be getting hammered as well. This will be through Chester, Winslow, Pettigrew, Deer, through White Springs as well. And some of the aforementioned areas could see snowfall accumulations exceeding a foot of snow, so definitely a very dynamic system for sure. So mostly around this area, so where these snow bands will be setting up, we're looking at or near 10-to-1 ratio here. So that's especially in the areas that witness the most dynamical cooling processes, where cold air aloft pipes down to the surface, generating the potential for some heavy snow to develop for sure. So with that being said, the heaviest snow totals will track from northeastern Texas, all the way up through central and eastern Oklahoma, as well as into the Ozark mountain range here. However, with surface temperatures just above freezing, especially into portions of northeastern Texas and southern Oklahoma here, a bit of melting could certainly occur, bringing down some of those snow accumulations. For instance, if 8 inches of snowfall is forecast within the region, it will be more like 4 to 6 inches with the melting that is expected to occur. And then with that 500 millibar vorticity maximum tracking along the Red River here, we're going to have to watch the potential for several inches of snowfall to develop within the aforementioned areas, with the bullseye actually occurring in the Ozark Mountains, where up to a foot of snow or more is expected. So definitely not a good situation. As for the severe weather within this region, we definitely have to watch out for the development of significant tornadoes, especially where the critical angles are greater and where the winds take a more westerly flow or component as well within the southern edge of this jet streak. So we'll definitely take a look at that. Let's try to step this forward a little bit here. So yeah, definitely not good. So within the southern portion of this jet streak here is definitely where we're going to have the winds are going to take more of a southwesterly flow, and this is where you're going to get a supercell thunderstorm or a few supercell thunderstorms that anchors and propagates off to the east and northeast right along the Gulf Coast here. So we're going to have to watch this very attentively here. So it's definitely going to be a very interesting situation. And also just take note of the tilt of this trough as well as we progress forward a little bit here. You can see that tilt there. So it's going to have more of a negative tilt to it. It's going to allow for storms to be compressed into 1 day rather than 2 days. However, this system does have enough energy in it to allow the generation of some storms on Wednesday as well. The storms on Wednesday will be much weaker, at least for now, at least for given the latest model data. In terms of the Tuesday storms, Tuesday looks like to be the bullseye risk. However, a marginal risk has been introduced on Wednesday, as we stated last night in the live briefing. But accompanying this negatively tilted trough, a massive low-level jet regime will be also in place as well. So we can see that massive low-level jet here. Let's back this up a little bit. But you can see that massive low-level jet. It's definitely not a good situation for sure. So this is definitely going to be present. This will be through the late morning to the early afternoon hours. This big-time low-level jet axis will be ripping southerly flow into the region, bringing in a plethora of moisture as well as instability from the Gulf of Mexico, creating nearly the perfect scenario for damaging tornadoes to develop. So the low-level jet will be ripping between 50 and 80 knots, so definitely not good. You can definitely see some of these values here up to 70 knots, 73 knots in certain locations, so that's definitely not good. This is definitely cause for alarm for sure. Let's back this up back to 20Z real quick. I just want to show you guys some of these dew points as well that we're going to be witnessing here. It's definitely not good. But you can see here, let's actually put it back a little bit further. There we go. Check this out, guys. So these are dew points down into the up into the actual 60s here, and then you can see these dew points sitting offshore into the 70s. So we're going to have to watch out for this for sure. So definitely not good, and I'm definitely sure that a lot of storm chasers will be chasing this nose here. Definitely this moisture nose here for sure. So this will be the region where a mature supercell or a few mature supercells will develop right along this interface. So definitely not good. So there's definitely going to be a very interesting interface developing here. So a coastal front will just be offshore at this time as well. So you can definitely see right in here. It's definitely going to be very interesting to watch. Let me back this up just a little bit. So this moisture nose is going to be traveling across to the east. We're going to have to watch out for this, and eventually coming up into southeastern and southern Louisiana, where definitely a second threat will be definitely developing. But you can see that coastal front just offshore here. So it's definitely not good. So take note of the shoreline here, guys. So right here between Texas and Louisiana, right here along the Sabine Pass and the Sabine River, it's relatively concave in nature here, as we mentioned earlier. So this concavity will make it more difficult for instability and moisture to be advected onshore. However, looking further east, especially during the late evening and into the overnight hours, this enhanced risk will eventually ramp up once again as a low-level jet axis shifts eastward, advecting the moisture and robust instability onshore. And we can definitely take a look at that if we step forward a little bit. You can see those values definitely coming in. We're looking at between the mid-60s, lower 60s dew points, so definitely ample fuel and moisture. Definitely providing the necessary ingredients for damaging tornadoes to develop, as well as destructive winds, possibly in excess of 70 miles per hour, and large hail, possibly even up to golf ball, even up to baseball size hail. So we're going to have to watch this. So we're definitely going to have to watch this. This will be heading towards Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans area for sure. This will bring in that second mode for severe storms and tornadoes to develop. And as I mentioned previously, let's go back a little bit here. We can definitely see that nose and that axis here. This will be developing down through the Corpus Christi area, so we're definitely going to have to watch out for this. Definitely ample moisture here developing for sure. This will be developing earlier in the day, which will be allowing for supercell thunderstorms to develop and anchor within the moisture and instability nose, leading to the development of intense, damaging winds, large hail, and the possibility for long-track, dangerous tornadoes. It will be certainly one to watch tomorrow for sure. So we're definitely going to have to watch that. Let's actually go back to the 850 millibar height so we can take a look at that low-level jet here. So you can definitely see it ramping up as we go through the afternoon into the evening hours here. So definitely not good. So also with the low-level jet coupled with the deep moisture and instability advection, a Pacific frontal zone definitely wants to try to develop here as well. This will be leading to a triple point forming, generating a surface low setup within the region just to the north of Corpus Christi. So if we definitely back that up a little bit, we can definitely see there's going to be a triple point here developing. So it's definitely not going to be a good, situation for sure. So let's actually jump into some of the actual the severe thunderstorm parameters to see what we got going on here. So if we jump into, we can take a look at the significant tornado parameter for sure. You can definitely see here, definitely values are definitely on the uptick here. So we can definitely see conditions will be conducive for tornado genesis, especially between Corpus Christi and Houston, Texas. And we can see that there will be some trouble for this front along the concavity of the shoreline here, just to the south of the Sabine Pass and the Sabine River. However, it may still be possible for this warm front to penetrate inland, and unfortunately only time will tell at this point. But you can definitely see, definitely tries to come on shore here within this concavity. So definitely not a good sign as we step it forward. So it's definitely not looking good here. This is around 8 p.m. Central Standard Time here. You can definitely see southern Louisiana definitely looking at some definitely interesting values here of significant tornado parameter, definitely on the uptick. So definitely not good. So the instability coupled with ample moisture will make its way into southern and southeastern Louisiana. So this will be heading into the late evening, into the overnight hours here. So definitely not good. This will be stretching from Lafayette to New Orleans, bringing in that potential for damaging tornadoes, large hail, and destructive winds. This will continue to propagate eastward into the overnight and early morning hours on Wednesday. So if we step this forward, we can definitely see it's starting to impact southern Mississippi here, and definitely into southern Alabama, and then eventually into the Florida Panhandle here as well. So definitely not good. At least in terms of severe weather, definitely a prolonged event. So this will be the overnight, early morning hours on Wednesday through Mobile all the way through Pensacola, Florida. So definitely not good. Let's actually step back to 20Z and we'll take a look at the composite reflectivity. So we'll take a look at the future radar that's actually suggested by the HRRR model here. Let's see here. Let's go to... Well, I'd rather use composite reflectivity here. You can definitely see that we have that linear structure here, possibly for a damaging severe storms coming in here. But unfortunately, we do have that interesting region of prefrontal confluence bands as well, where renegade supercells are likely to form. So you can definitely see some of these cells. It's definitely not going to be good. We can actually zoom in a little bit here. Let's actually go to local. We'll go to southern Texas here. So this will be near the Houston, Galveston, with a line stretching from Huntsville down through College Station, down through Victoria, Texas. So definitely a very interesting situation taking shape. A destructive tornado or two is certainly possible within this prefrontal confluence regime as well. So we're definitely have to monitor this threat with unbound vision for sure. It's definitely not going to be a good situation. We can step this forward a little bit. So we can actually take a look at 20Z. I just want to show you guys. So 20Z will be about 3 p.m. or so down here in Texas. We step this forward to about 22Z, and you can definitely see those destructive bands definitely coming on shore in Galveston, down through Beaumont and Lake Charles as well. So definitely that concavity definitely doesn't look like it's going to hold these storms back for long for sure. So definitely not a good situation. This is 22Z. This is about 4 p.m. So we're going to have to watch this. So between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., we're going to have to watch these severe thunderstorms coming through eastern and southeastern Texas. So definitely not good. And these cells on the southern side and southeastern side of Houston, we're going to have to watch this for sure. You can definitely see these discrete supercells right out ahead of the main line here. So definitely not good. Renegades, very, very strong renegade supercells. And we also will be dealing with that QLCS threat behind this as well. Behind these prefrontal confluence bands. So definitely not a good situation. So Sorry, Hopper likes to climb the chair as I'm on live stream. Hang on 1 second. All right. So we're good. She's still climbing on the chair. So if you guys hear any ASMR in the background, that is Hopper kitten climbing on my chair. She only likes to do this during live streams. It's pretty funny, but so like I said, we'll definitely have this QLCS, this quasi-linear convective system behind these prefrontal confluence bands. So we're definitely going to have to watch out for the threat of Boeing segments and bookend vortices, which could generate brief spin-ups or even the potential for stronger QLCS tornadoes. So it's definitely not good. We can definitely step this forward a little bit. So this is around 6 p.m. You could definitely see Lake Charles definitely getting hit by that main squall line here. You can definitely see a lot of those supercell thunderstorms developing out ahead of this as well. So if we actually move forward into Louisiana here, so this is around 6 p.m. These storms will be heading into Lafayette here. A little bit of discrete supercells as well developing here, so we're going to have to watch these renegades. So definitely not a good situation. So this will be around 7 p.m. They start to enter the Lafayette and eventually into the Baton Rouge area. Looks like Alexandria down to Lake Charles. Definitely getting hammered by some of these tornadoes and thunderstorms here. So it's not going to be good. We're definitely going to have some water spout potential here off the Gulf and into the Gulf Coast here, down into the open Gulf waters here, around 6 to 7 p.m. So definitely not good. We can step this forward all the way through 9 p.m. Definitely see near West Gulfport here. We're going to have to watch this very, very discrete supercell here. Mine like to keep in my lap. Oh, yeah, definitely. Demand attention completely. I understand. I agree with that. She does. She demands attention from me, constantly. But actually, before I was on live stream, I was, she was playing with her toys and stuff, so it was pretty cool. But she's very active, It's very, very active at any time of the day, especially within like the 2 to 3 a.m. Time frame. She's definitely super active, running around the house like crazy, but you know how that goes. So Baton Rouge, definitely watch out because you're definitely going to be getting hit at this time by this QLCS. And you can definitely see there could be some Boeing segments and some bookend vortices in here, so we're going to watch out for some brief spin-ups. So definitely not a good situation. And as we step forward into the late evening hours here, so this is 11 p.m. You can definitely be on the lookout in New Orleans. You have some of these discrete supercells forming here, as well as that QLCS behind that, so we're going to have to watch out for that for sure, even up through Hattiesburg and through Meridian as well, eventually extending into southern and central Alabama. So we're going to have to watch this situation very, very closely, and even into the overnight hours, especially on within the New Orleans area, Slidell, West Gulfport, and Hattiesburg. Definitely see some of these Boeing segments coming through, so we're going to have those brief spin-ups. So it's definitely possible that New Orleans could definitely play host to another tornado. It's definitely not a good situation. Last year they seen 2 EF3 tornadoes. I believe one was back in March and one was at the end of the year, so it's definitely not a good situation. It's been a very, very active season for sure. Let me actually go back to the regional area here. So at the same time, so if we go back to 20Z, so at the same time, we'll be dealing with heavier snow bands developing here within the deformation zone off to the north within northeastern Texas here and through southern and central and eastern Oklahoma, as well as into the Ozark Mountains. We're going to have to watch this very, very closely. So it's definitely not a good situation. Let's go back and take a look at some of the sounding data for some of these severe threat here. So actually, let's take a look at the Sabine Pass here. So yeah, we definitely have that elevated mix layer coming in. So you can definitely see the dew point line here. Definitely have a lot of low-level moisture, almost to the 700 millibars, so all the way up to 3 kilometers. We're going to have abundant moisture here. You can see SRH values of 706, which is definitely very crazy to see. I have never really seen SRH values that high before. Critical angle down at 54, still sufficient enough to ingest streamwise vorticity into the actual cells itself. And you can see these. You can see the hodograph here. Look at the curve in this hodograph. It's definitely not good, guys. So we're looking at the surface. We're looking at about 30 knot low-level winds at the surface, and then all the way up into 1 kilometer, we're looking at about 70 knots. So that's definitely sufficient enough. And then you have that southwesterly flow component coming in as well. So that's definitely very, very significant in generating tornadoes. So we're definitely looking at near the Sabine River here, in the Sabine Pass over into so extreme portions of eastern Texas into extreme portions of southwestern Louisiana. We're going to have to watch this area very closely tomorrow. So let's actually take a look at the time frame of this as well. So it's definitely not good. Definitely not good at all. So this will be about 5 p.m. So you can definitely see this tornado threat is going to be very, very extensive, especially with these curved photographs and these omega values coming in as well. Definitely a very, very robust damaging wind threat as well as a potential for significant hail to develop. But these curved photographs, you can definitely see how insane that is. We're looking at 20 knots, surface winds, 20 to 30 knots, and then all the way up into 1 kilometer, we're looking at about 70 to 75, possibly even 80 knots with the 1 kilometer. So definitely very, very strong winds at low levels. This is definitely conducive for tornado development. So this is definitely not good. Definitely not good at all. We can actually step forward. I'm very curious to see the New Orleans sounding here. Let's see here. So this will be at 11 p.m. Let's take a look at some of the sounding data from New Orleans as well. You can see that deep elevated mixed layer here. It's definitely not good. It's definitely possible we can get some clearing throughout the day as well, which will definitely introduce that daytime heating, which will definitely raise those surface temperatures, raise the convective temperature as well, and for storms to definitely take off very, very rapidly here. You can definitely see the possible hazard here is tornado, critical angle at 43, so a little bit lower, but still we have those 20 knot surface winds all the way up to 60 knot in 1 kilometer. So you can definitely see how prominent that low level jet is going to be, especially with that curvature in the photograph. We definitely have that southwesterly component of flow coming in, so it's definitely not going to be good for sure. You can see that southwesterly flow definitely happening at the surface, and then a little bit even more southwesterly, possibly even westerly as we get up into the 6 kilometer range here. So definitely not good. Definitely very conducive environment for tornadoes to develop. This is all throughout this region. So this includes eastern Texas. This includes much of southern Louisiana, southwestern Louisiana, and definitely here in southeastern Louisiana, and especially over here into southern Mississippi and southern Alabama into the Florida Peninsula, or Florida Panhandle as well. So definitely not a good situation for sure. And at that, like I said, at that same time, we definitely have those snow bands definitely setting up across northeastern Texas and Oklahoma as well. So we'll definitely take a look at that. You can see this banding, this heavier band's definitely developing. We can take a look at the sounding here as well. You can see temperatures just above freezing. So we definitely have a little bit of that melt definitely going to occur. But we do have a significant dendritic growth zone here. So definitely a good snow growth zone here. Definitely have a good ventilation rate as well. So these dynamic cooling processes are definitely going to be able to pipe down to the surface. We'll definitely get some heavier snow totals here. We can definitely take a look at some of those snow totals as well throughout the region. Let's take a look at that. So let's actually zoom in here. And let's actually zoom all the way through Wednesday. So you can definitely see some of these snow totals here. McAllister, about 11 inches of snow. Even Wichita Falls, 9 inches. Lawton, 5.4. Oklahoma City, so OKC, about 3 inches. Like I said earlier, we're definitely going to have some melting here. So these snow totals may be decreased by about 3 or 4 inches, but still, we're definitely looking at, in McAllister, we're looking at a potential of up to probably about 6 or 7 inches in this area. Wichita Falls can definitely see probably about 4 to 5 inches here. Lawton, definitely around the 2 to 3 inches of snow here. So it's definitely a significant storm system here. Let's take a look at in Arkansas as well. We're definitely going to get that bullseye here. So definitely these snow totals here are definitely going to be in play for sure. I don't see much melting happening in some of these areas, especially in the mountainous terrain. We're definitely looking at 32 degrees. So definitely not much melting going to take place here. But we can definitely see a significant dendritic growth zone here for snow. So it's definitely not a good sign here. But yeah, these snow totals are going to be pretty accurate here within the Ozark mountain range here. So we're looking at upwards of 12 inches definitely possible here, guys. So definitely not good. Definitely not good at all. We can also take a look at Wednesday's severe weather threat, since I did bring that up. Let's actually go into that really quickly. But yeah, not good, guys. So down to the south of Houston here, all the way through, possibly even down into Victoria, Texas, Bay City, Galveston. So this is Tuesday. This is tomorrow's threat. Over through New Orleans, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Gulfport, Port Sulphur, Mobile, Hattiesburg, Pensacola, right along 65 and I-10 here. So definitely be on the lookout for damaging tornadoes that develop, as well as large hail. Definitely don't want to be caught out when these severe thunderstorms impact the area. But let's take a look at Wednesday's threat here. Actually, you know what? Let's just reiterate that tornado threat as well. So let's take a look at that first before we move on. So you can definitely see that major threat for tornadoes here in those enhanced risk areas. So we're looking at significant severe tornadoes definitely possible through Victoria, Bay City, Galveston, all the way through here into New Iberia, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Golden Meadow, Bogalusa, Gulfport, Sutherland, Hattiesburg, Pensacola, Crestview, and Destin. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It's definitely not going to be a good situation for sure, at least in terms of tornadoes. Unfortunately, it does look like there will be a threat for very, very strong winds here as well. So we're looking at upwards of 30% or more. So we're definitely looking at damaging winds, possibly in excess of 70 miles per hour, possibly even 80 miles per hour through the Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Port Sulphur, Gulfport, Mobile, Hattiesburg, all the way through Pensacola here. So this is along I-10 and I-65. So definitely have those generators ready and prepped. Just in case, because there's definitely going to be a lot of power outages, I'm sure, through this area. Definitely some flooding as well. So definitely be on the lookout for all of those hazards. We can even look at the hail threat here as well. So definitely not good. Looks like the larger hail threat is going to be here through Victoria, Houston, League City, and Galveston here through Bay City. Along I-45 and I-10 here. So looking at 15%, so that's definitely significant hail. So this could be golf ball size or even up to baseball size hail. This threat could definitely be extended all the way to the east. However, it looks like the main threat for hail is going to be Houston, Galveston, and Victoria here. So we're going to have to keep it out. Definitely a sharp eye on this. So let's actually move into Wednesday's severe weather threat as well. We can definitely take a look at that. You can see there's a broad area of marginal risk. This extends from Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Panama City, Apalachicola, Dothan, Albany, Macon, Augusta, Columbia, Savannah, Brunswick, Charleston, Florence, Charlotte, Fayetteville, Rocky Mount, Greenville, Kitty Hawk, all the way up through Virginia Beach, and possibly all the way up through Exmoor here. So it's definitely not a good situation. Definitely have the potential for severe weather here as well. It's definitely a weaker risk. Nevertheless, we could still get some brief spin-ups. So strong thunderstorms may impact portions of the southern through mid-Atlantic coast states Wednesday, accompanied by or at least some risk for damaging winds and tornadoes. So definitely have to be on the lookout for that. So we're definitely looking at that low-level jet of 50 to 70 knots. So it's definitely not good here. So it's definitely going to be an intense situation for sure. But we do have that threat for severe storms here. Let me see if I can actually go into the model data again. So let's actually go into the HRRR data and see if it updated fully. Not yet. That's okay. So let's take this severe weather risk off really quickly and just reiterate some of the stuff that we just went over here. Thank you guys for joining me. Definitely appreciate it. Definitely, if you can, definitely share this information out there. Just so that way everybody knows exactly what to expect during this situation. But let's take a look at this. It's definitely going to be an interesting situation, especially with the severe weather. So let's go through Wednesday here. You can definitely see, even into Tuesday, 1 p.m., we're going to have some of those here. Those storms developing, especially into, we're going to have some storms down through here, Austin, San Antonio as well. Once they make it to the east of Austin and San Antonio, they're definitely going to develop into that more linear structure. And like I said earlier, we're going to have to watch out for these prefrontal confluence bands, these renegade supercells that can definitely develop tornadoes for sure. This will be around Tuesday, 4 p.m. And as we keep going forward, we can definitely see those cells just to the northwest of Beaumont and Port Sulphur And off to the east of Houston here, we're definitely have to watch out for some of these stronger storms to develop. You could definitely see the appendages starting to form as well. Again, this is radar data. This is not live data. So this is actual future radar data. This is 5 p.m. We're going to have to keep an eye out on this. This is definitely going to be a very significant threat tomorrow. And as we move into the evening and overnight hours here, these storms eventually approach Baton Rouge and even into New Orleans. And unfortunately, New Orleans may see another tornado tomorrow. But we could definitely see significant tornadoes here east of Houston, Texas tomorrow, even into Galveston, down through Galveston Island, up through Houston, Beaumont, especially through Jasper, Lake Charles, all the way through Crowley, Lafayette, Baton Rouge. So we definitely have to watch out for this for sure. It's definitely not going to be a good situation. And as these storms eject off to the east and northeast, we're going to have that linear structure developing off the Gulf Coast here. So definitely some water spouts down here. And eventually up into Mobile, Montgomery as well, up through 65. Eventually through 185 and I-10. So I-10 is definitely going to get hit tomorrow. So if you guys are traveling on I-10 from, let's say, Panama City all the way through New Orleans, definitely be on the lookout for very, very intense thunderstorms to develop. Definitely try to seek some shelter for sure. If you guys come under any tornado watches, warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, watches, definitely heed those watches and warnings. Definitely have your safety kit prepared. Definitely have a plan in place just in case you guys do need to evacuate. It's definitely going to be a very interesting situation. Definitely, if you don't have a basement, definitely get to the lowest level of an interior building. Try to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible once you're under a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning. Definitely stay away from windows for sure. But yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to go over. But let's take a look at some of the snowfall totals here just to reiterate that as well. We can definitely see here to the south of Oklahoma City and to the south east of Norman. Hi, Hopper. Thanks again for the ASMR. Indeed, definitely praying for everybody in this situation. But you can definitely see some of these snow totals. Just subtract about 3 to 4 inches of snow in some of these areas, just due to the melting that's going to happen, because some of these areas are going to be above freezing, just a couple degrees above freezing. So we're going to have to watch out for that. So we're definitely looking at a good, a solid 5 to 6 inches here. To the northeast of Ardmore here through McAllister as well. But over here, guys, into the higher terrain, definitely take these snow totals as factual, because we're definitely going to have around freezing or below freezing temperatures here. So we're looking at about 7 to 12 inches of snowfall, or possibly even more through the Ozark mountain range here, and the higher terrain of Arkansas and even the higher terrain of Oklahoma here. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But all right, guys, definitely appreciate you joining me for this stream. It's definitely going to be an active day tomorrow. We'll definitely be on here live for sure. I'm definitely following the severe weather. But we definitely appreciate you guys being here for sure. It's definitely an honor to have all of you guys here. Definitely praying for everybody, especially everybody in the path of these storms. So it's definitely not going to be good. This is going to be down through eastern Texas, southeastern Texas as well. Through southern and southwestern and southeastern Louisiana, eventually into southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, and into the Florida Panhandle here. So it's definitely not a good situation. But definitely thank you all for watching. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Definitely hit that like button as well. Definitely helps our video get into the algorithm. Definitely helps us share this information out there to those that need it the most, especially those in the path of this storm system. So definitely you can also follow us on Facebook at World Weather Authority. Check out our Twitter page at World Weather and our Instagram at W.W.A Graham as well. We're definitely going to be going live for sure tomorrow, definitely in the morning hours, most likely as these storms get their act together. And we're going to try to be live all day tomorrow. So it's definitely going to be a long stream tomorrow, guys. So definitely, we'll definitely be on here, definitely providing those updates. And then either later tomorrow or on Wednesday, we're going to provide some of those snowfall totals and weather events for the northeastern and mid-Atlantic states, as well as the Great Lakes as well. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And no problem at all. Definitely thank you for joining me. Definitely appreciate that. God bless you and stay safe as well. And always remember, never stop chasing.